Hey everybody, guess what time it is? That's right, it's time for Syntext Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody is doing well. We don't have a lot of people watching, but I'm just going to jump into my notes. And I got my notes right here. I always got my notes right here, just in case. So first things first, folks. I know that I've been a little hesitant on making the stories over the past week. Well, I will let you know, yesterday, you couldn't get me out of that bed if you tried. I was sicker than all hell. That just wasn't going to happen. And it's one of those, you stand up, you start getting dizzy, and as soon as you stand up too quick, you're doing the multicolored yawn. We've all been there and know it wasn't a hangover. I'm sure the screwdriver I drank to try and get some sleep didn't help, but one is not going to put me down like that. If it puts you down like that, I suggest you stay away from it. So, on top of that, hopefully in the next week, I get on schedule again and start pumping out at least one story a day. That will really depend on if the season actually ends as far as syrup season goes. If you don't know, I've mentioned it before, I make maple syrup, and that will eat up a lot of time, especially when you can't sit there and write, even though you're just watching a fire for most of it. If somebody's there, you can't be rude and just be sitting there jotting stuff down. Takes a few hours to write this stuff down. So, all right. Let's see. Okay, I hit those. So I had to grab a new pen. The one I had, I burned it out. You gotta love that. For those of you who write, you know the irritation when you constantly have to throw pens away because they run out of ink. So I wanted to go on to the series that just ended, If We Had Known, and go over a couple things. One, I know you guys thought that the previous chapter is going to be the last one because the name was mentioned so much. That was an expositionary chapter. I have to do those because I don't have video to go along with it. It would be nice if I had something like an artist or something or a whole studio to actually give you guys visuals. I wouldn't have to worry about that. But the problem is there's a lot of things I can't do just reading. So don't be surprised in pretty much every story. There's that one chapter that things don't actually progress. They just tell you what the hell's going on. More often than not, that goes with the time jump. Those of you guys who are out there and you are writing, this is something you're going to have to get used to. You're going to have one, every time it's a time jump, you got to tell people what's going on. And that was the whole point of that second to last chapter, is to let them know, or let you guys know, that things were going on just like they did during the invasion that I went over. I could have done an invasion for every single planet, but I would have been just rehashing the same thing over and over again. You guys would have get bored with it, and I would have got bored with it, and I'm just sitting there like, no, let's just do this right. So, could it continue? Yes. I had a lot of questions about this in the comment section. People wondered if the series could continue. Yes, I left it open deliberately because there are two other races out there that you haven't even met yet. The Calubra were keeping them as social experiments. They wanted to analyze them. They wanted to look at them. They wanted to see how things went. Meeting those two can either be very good or very bad. We'll see how that goes. I probably won't touch on it for a while, but it's going to be what it is, and it can continue. So, touched on that. The last one that came out, I believe it was Tuesday morning. No, that is not a new series. Well, I shouldn't say a lot, but a few people were saying, oh, look, a new series. It's not. That was a one-off. That was not meant to be expanded. Can it? Yes. If there's a lot of pull for it, which there is not right now, it will, but I don't see that. So just want to let you know on that. Okay. One guy put on, apparently there's a new viewer out there, and he said, I used the word simply too much in the humans. They throw things really well. The whole point of saying that so many times was to remind people that sometimes the simplest solutions are what works. That's it. It was the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Something that I had to learn the hard way when I was in the service. Okay, expedition episode. I already talked about that. All right, on to my next one. I will say, your comments in the videos, I read all of them, and I will say, and I'm going to give a shout out. I don't know if he's going to be listening or not. I don't know if he's listening right now, but Caleb, if you're listening, yes, your suggestion did alter the story just a little bit, because guess what you were talking about worked, but it also had me start thinking in other angles. So yes, you guys, when you put in the comment section, oh, it might go this way, it might go that way, you might key something inside this thinking meat. Let me massage the thinking meat a little, and boom, something that you want is going to come out. Now, speaking of things that you guys wanted, yes, I do have my notes. This is the live notes here from the past few weeks. Actually, for the past couple months is right here. And yes, I will be going through this, and I will be going over the story suggestions that you guys wanted. I do write them down. I do hold on to them, because these are my live notes. This is the story that's coming out tonight, which I haven't even done the audio yet. So it took me a while to get that done because so much happened today, guys. I was running around like an asshole. So, hey, it happens. We've all been there. It is what happens. So the only other thing on my docket tonight I want to come across was upcoming sci-fi movies. Why do so many of them look like they suck? I still don't get it. Is Hollywood desperate and just pumping stuff out? I don't know. I start to wonder, folks. I really do start to wonder if they actually give a shit about what they do. I truly give a shit about what I do, but hey, I'm hoping to make this basically my full-time job. So yeah. One movie I am looking forward to, even though it's almost completely CGI from start to finish, is the Godzilla and Kong, where they give him the metal glove. And honestly, if they don't make Kong give a middle finger, they've missed out a lot. They have seriously missed out a lot. And oh man, it's so bad that actually at one point I wanted to give a, how do I put this? Give him a grappling hook and do the whole scorpion, get over here, and just kind of knock that whatever monkey on his back. You know, the one he's facing. So that would be funny. Although they're missing something so important. And I swear I wonder, do people in sci-fi actually understand what people want? What people want in their sci-fi videos, especially in a Godzilla and Kong movie, is more military, fighting alongside one of our favorite kaijus, because apparently that's the new phrase now. I just say big ass monster. That's what everybody wants. We got a little brief of it when Godzilla started going full nuclear, and he was flanked by a bunch of frigates and destroyers, and they're just kind of laying waste in the three-headed, whatever his name was, King, whatever. You guys can put it in there. But anyways, they missed that so many times. It's not just about the big folks beating the crap out. It's about joining forces and stuff like that. Now, I will say I have not seen the TV show. I don't have that streaming service. I don't have any streaming service, honestly, because I just don't have time to sit down and watch them all. It'd be nice if I could, but I can't, so I don't. So anyways, I only bring that up because, like I said, I want to give you guys what you want. Can I do that in every story? No, I cannot. So don't be surprised if you're like, I want to go this way. Well, it just doesn't fit that way. So I had to do this. Okay. This isn't anime where your favorite character suddenly becomes God after freaking doing something. I mean, don't get me wrong. Me likey some anime. I mean, there's a couple out there that are pretty good right now. If those of you who haven't seen the new healer one that came out, The Wrong Way to Do Healing, you're actually missing out, because it's a really well thought series. It's well done. So far, it's only about halfway done, so we'll see if they don't drop the ball. So I only bring that up for story content. So we don't have a lot of people in the chat at the moment, so I'm going to run through these. It might be a quick one tonight, folks, and we'll see what's going on. I see War Gamers here, Rage is here, Mike. Oh, you're here again. Demon's definitely here. Demon, you're always here. Let's see. Yep. Just our normals here. Okay. War Sniper saying hi to everybody. Technoman, greeting humanoids. Oh, that's pretty good. I will say, I do have to, you brought this up, and let me see if it's in my notes here. Wrong notes. Shoot. On the previous story, I gotta say I screwed up on one part. I forgot to mention synesthesia, which is the actual growing of abilities, or an extra gland or whatever, extra physical ability or something beyond the standard human form. That was kind of I was trying to remember to put that in there, and I screwed up. My fault. I beg the forgiveness. I'm sorry, Master. I'm sorry. No, I'm joking. Okay. So, this is why I wish I had more time to write them down, but I just don't. Okay. Mike seemed to like the previous story there that was on the If We Had Known. Yep. Demon says, my Lord, YouTube is acting up, but I'm finally working. I'm here now. Yep. We'll see you there. War Sniper doing, hey, hey, hey. He's here. YouTube still doesn't let me comment unless, what? Really? Unless it's live stream, which is odd. It doesn't let you comment in the bottom. I don't turn them off. I've never turned comments off. Even when I don't like the comments that are coming in, I never turn them off. That's weird. Huh. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Worst number says, Sin, was that with the gas attack, the gas the Germans used in World War I? That was the start of it. The mustard gas won't do all the things I was talking about, but you can, tune it up a little bit to do exactly. But yeah, that was kind of the idea. Hold on, I gotta wash my throat out here. Oh, sorry. It's kind of stepping on my own tongue here. The whole point of that, I hope I said it correctly, was the fact that initially they were using gas as a smokescreen and nothing else, just so they could get the big heavy guys actually out of the pods. Because then you're kind of, when that thing drops, you're kind of exposed there. You're just kind of sitting there. You got to actually get to your feet. However, they wanted to be able to push everyone out and do some damage at the same time, especially after they did some really egregious stuff to like Doc and everything like that. You don't shoot Doc, you dumbass. So yeah, they started using a more not toxic gas, but something that would cause extreme pain. Now, could something that works like that actually kill you? Yes. I was a drill sergeant. We had to be very, very careful whenever we went in the CS chamber. And yes, that is what it's called. And if somebody was starting to cough real bad, we watched. It's very easy because everyone's sitting up against the wall. When they first get there, you'll see their face start jerking up and down as they're coughing. So you walk up, and I hate to say it, but it's always the little girls where they wouldn't put the mask on tight enough. And we got the smallest mask. It fit. But for the love of God, I had to grab them like right here and like yank the mask down and then shove it against their jaw and then I reach behind their head and tighten it down. I got the NBC guy coming up next to me, and he's basically doing the same thing, but he's trying to work with 3 people at the same time. I kind of felt like an asshole. I got one hand on one female's face, literally pushing her face against the wall to try and get a seal so she doesn't friggin' puke inside her mask. And then I got my hand on a skinny dude. I don't know what the hell was wrong with his mask. But again, I'm doing the same thing, but I'm actually pushing up because he was like 6'4". I'm like, and I'm looking over, I'm screaming, hey, can you help me out here? However, that being said, we have had people that immediately, once they get in there, they have a bad reaction. We've seen it at the extremes in thought. You have people that have extremely bad reactions, and they end up can't breathing at all. Or in one case, they actually they started coughing up blood, and that was scary, honestly. That was the guys right in front of us, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then we have some people that walk in there, pull their mask off, and are like, what's the big fucking deal? Oh, my eyes are tearing up a little bit. Ooh. So, yeah, the whole idea was originally was more of a blister agent, not a lethal agent in the story. It just turned out that it was effective that way. Was it just tear gas? Tear gas will not cause blisters. Tear gas will just make your skin itch. And that's the most. The worst part is when it actually gets past about 2 layers of skin in more sensitive areas, and you don't get a chance to hose that off. And yeah, not cool. So yeah, Demon, it wasn't tear gas. It was originally it was just white smoke. Now it's something more. Okay, Ghidorah, is that what it is? The 3-headed, supposed to be a rip off of friggin' Cerberus. Yeah, 3-headed lizard. Let's see. War Sniper says, I was thinking that too, but some of the other symptoms really are similar to the gas the Germans use. Yeah, it was. I actually looked up the symptoms. I started writing a lot of those down, and then, yeah, well, they used them in both. Just one was more lethal and wasn't a blister agent. It was neurological toxin, which I hate to take a cue off the bad guys, but I kind of merged the two a little bit. But yeah, it was basically mustard gas, just a little adjusted. Okay. Let's see. Demon says, I try my best to be here every time. I have overslept a few times and missed it. If you miss it, just watch it later. I save all of them. You're fine. Ernest, checking in with my overlord. Ooh. Do I look like a skeleton to you that has the powers of friggin' God, the devil, and the universe at the same time? I mean, I'd love to actually lose some weight. I mean, I am pale. I mean, I know that. I mean, seriously, I need to get more sun. But by the way, I don't care for that series. Overpowered characters like that, you get them too far and you lose me. I'm like, what am I watching this for? I know a lot of people like the Eminescence of Shadow, and I'm sorry, I checked out of that show after the guy actually talked about his past. There's no how do I put this? There's no stakes in the show, not for the main character. There's stakes for everybody else, but there's not a single stake for the main character, not one. Why? Because if you do watch the scene where he does that one awesome line where he goes, I am atomic. And by the way, that's the only time that ever should have been used, because they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle again and they're failing miserably. But he talks about how in his previous life, one of his previous lives, he was trying to figure out how he could strengthen his body to handle an atomic explosion. Well, that's not how he died in the freaking beginning. No, as it turns out, this guy literally isekais every time he dies. There's no stakes. He knows he's going to just pop up with all his old abilities and all his old skills back in another body that he can probably adjust, because that, I don't know, was that ooze that he's on him? I mean, it's not even the good ooze that turns a freaking turtle into a ninja. I mean, what the fuck, man? It's just, there's no stakes for the main character. So I'm sitting there going, what am I watching this for? There has to be some sort of stakes. There has to be some sort of tension. There's got to be something that's going to reach out and grab you by your balls and hold on. So, yeah. Well, you can seriously OP a character, which is why when I did Galactic War Games, once they got to the point where nobody, literally they faced off against everybody and won, you're reaching the point of being too OP. Just, even though they're getting screwed up, they're getting messed up, they still have to eject. It was to the point where I couldn't push it any further, and they're just going to sit there, show up, and everyone's going to go, I'm done. So anyways, Jan says, good morning. Demon says, I was worried I was going to do that today. Oh, what puke? Went to bed late today, had to bury my dog. Oh, dude. Now I wish I had a freaking alcohol or something. Dude, that hurts. I've been there, done that. And I hate that that's a part of life, at least for now, until they release certain technologies. But the only two people that can help with that, you know what? I'm not going to get into politics. You almost got me. You almost got me. Oh, you almost got me. You got me on the hook. I almost talked politics there. But, yeah. I've had to bury my fair share, and I don't even have a dog anymore. I don't need to deal with that. But sorry, yeah, got to go through that. Dustin says, hi. I'm happy that humans and the snake are able to make peace. Yeah, especially once they found out that the whole aggressiveness of the Great High Grand Leader, and yes, I know how pretentious that title was. There was a point to that. He only got extremely aggressive because the black tea, the really strong stuff. He personally, if you listen close, he downed like 3 or 4 full kettles of the stuff. He was higher than a kite. I don't know if you guys know about the drug down in Africa called khat, and it's like being on that stuff at full potency. People get seriously aggressive on that stuff, like scary aggressive. And yeah, I mean, they're literally, you're so high, you get shot, you don't even realize it got shot. So yeah, that was basically, they're like, yeah, we're just gonna beat your ass and then tell you to knock it the hell off. Let's see. Demon says, it's not just your vids, it's all your vids. I try to comment on. I post one of them, and after I leave the page, I come back and they're gone. Yeah, I don't know how you pissed off Susan on that one, Demon. I really don't. Maybe she just doesn't like your thumbnail. I like your thumbnail. I think that's kind of cool. Have the little sucker bus on there. And hey, they even put the wings in the right spot, which I think was nice. And even though I don't like Overlord, I appreciate the fact that on Little Miss really got to get laid, they put the wings in the right spot, because on a female, the wings would be farther down the back. They would actually most likely be attached just above the pelvis like hers are. Actually might be a little lower. But then again, she's a little weighted on the top as well. So, I can give that a pass. Let's see. Dustin says, it is too bad the warrior snakes were too dumb to surrender to humans sooner. Yeah, well, I actually got that through our own history. There's plenty of times where our own people should have just said, screw you guys, I'm going home. And they didn't. They just stood there and got all screwed up. It's just... what was the line? Arrogance and stupidity in one complete package. Yep, that's pride for you. And I mean, it is what it is on that one. Rage says, skip forward a generation or two and have stuff like sarin. Oh, sarin gas? That would be like a quick battle, wouldn't it? Let's see. Demon says, well, they were used to winning. They couldn't understand getting their asses kicked. Yeah, if they had an actual ass to kick. That actually, I kind of messed that up again when the public display of affection. That's why I kind of hesitate when the general kind of moved his hand down to her ass. Well, the thing is, she doesn't actually have an ass. It's not quite. I didn't go into full explanation on how those parts actually fully connected, but she wouldn't have what we humans consider an ass. But still, it'd be something that would make her go, ooh, he's in the mood. But the thing is, they still can't, do that. They can do everything but. Well, not even that. Never mind. Yeah. They had to get her a specialized machine to help her do that. So she could actually enjoy that part, because it's not the whole point of that section was, as I said last week, to show you that you can't, unlike a lot of sci-fi, not all the parts match up. Big Bang Theory even made a pitch on that. No one ever told Captain Kirk, hey, dude, get your thing out of my ears. This is like, although I decided to have a little bit of fun with it, and you got to have fun on what you do. So, yeah. Okay, doesn't he still talking mustard gas? Mustard gas was some horrible, horrible shit. There's still parts in Europe that you can't go because they use that crap. If you ever see a military map and you see a spot where it's yellow with or like yellow lines across, that's NBC contamination. Don't go there. That will probably kill you just for being there. I mean, it's crazy. And yes, gas is super effective if you use the right stuff. Skeleton form depends on the day. Well, if I lose weight. Let's see. Jan says, a story like Enemy Mine, 1990s Gurmai B. I do know Enemy Mine. Enemy Mine, when you look at it now, is the premise was good. The actual execution needed some work. That one could be done a lot better, even though it's still a classic. But you could see that they were trying to rush through a much, much larger story. They skipped a lot on that. That should be a mini series, not a movie. It's just crazy. That being said, still, hey, if you want a good movie, a sci-fi movie to sit down, eat some popcorn, just watch, it's not a bad movie. The thing about Enemy Mine is when it blew my mind when I was a kid because I was too young to understand what hermaphrodism was. And I'm like, wait a minute. Huh? You're having a kid. Did the guy screw the lizard thing? Because huh? Yeah. As my young mind just wouldn't wrap around it. Now I fully understand the whole point, but still. Could I make something like Enemy Mine? Sure. Actually, that was last week. Let's see. Let me check my notes. Let's see. Unkillable Soldiers, Neanderthal Time Zone, Trap Story. Nope, that wasn't it. Where was I? I swear to God, you guys said it. Okay. Yeah, there it is. The survival in the mountains with human along with several others. That would be right up that alley. Working together with an alien species. And yes, guys, I am working on that one. It's just going to take a while for me to work out all the kinks. It's not like I can just sit down with a premise and knock out a whole story. That doesn't work that way. I got to make sure that I have all the extra pieces lined up, or else it's going to be what happened a few days ago. I was about 4 or 5 pages in, and this story went to shit, and I had to freaking rip everything out and start over from scratch because it turned into dog shit. And I'm not giving you guys dog shit just to get content out. If I wanted to do that, I'd have a Twitch channel. But anyways. Let's see. How many more episodes is there planned for If I Know series and still need writing? Dustin, you missed the first part of the stream. That for now, it's on hiatus. I don't know how many more chapters could be on it. Again, the only thing that could bring it up is there's those 2 other species that were mentioned, and we'll see if what comes on that. It's going to be a while before I go back to it. But when I do, I'll just knock out an entire section on that, just like I did with Ambush Predators. I took some time off, and then I came back with a whole new saga for it, and there it is. Oh, shit. Okay. This thing's jumping on me, guys, so bear with me for a second. You would make a good dungeon master. Dude, I'm not walking around with a whip. No, I burned my bullwhip a long time ago. I don't know if I ever told you guys about that. Yeah, I actually won a bullwhip in a raffle. Didn't want the fucking thing. Thing was like 25 feet long, and if you knew what you're doing, you could easily crack the whip. I didn't have any bulls to actually smack, so I just had the damn whip. Well, we're hanging out at my barn back when I lived in a completely different area, and one of the guys, it was my brother's friend, his girlfriend was there. She found the whip. I showed her how to crack it, and she's cracking the thing and whipping around. I'm like, get the fuck away from us before you hit somebody with it. She didn't think it was all that big of a deal. She comes around. I hear the whoosh as it comes around, and when I hear the crack, that's not the crack of the end of the whip, which is actually breaking the sound barrier. No, it was a crack on a human leg. It went right through his jeans. Her boyfriend, he goes down like a tub of shit. We start freaking the hell out because we don't have the medical knowledge to deal with this shit. And we're running over. We're trying to grab his leg. We're trying to squeeze it as tight as possible. We don't have any tourniquets or anything like that. We run him to the inside the freaking truck. I'm holding his leg. My hands get tired. Somebody else reaches over, holds his leg, and we're just screaming down the road the whole time. She's in the back screaming, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. What the? Long story short, I think he got 12 or 13 stitches and definitely lost his girl, or well, she lost a boyfriend because he didn't care. We told her enough times to stop playing with the damn thing. When I got back, the first thing I did is I took that bullwhip and I threw it in the fireplace and burned it into nothing. Now, if you're talking about D&D, I've never played it. Not once. I hear it's pretty fun. I hear it can take hours. I just never got into it. It might be fun. I've just never played it. Let's see. Demon says, you might like ReZero. The MC has no powers other than being cursed by a witch that every time he dies, he respawns to certain checkpoints trying to figure things out. He suffers a lot. I want another season. I did see a couple episodes of that. And all I could say is, dude, if you know you're going to be killed off by a giant monster, why are you not trying to get every piece of ass you can? I'm like, seriously, if you know you're going to freaking die and respawn, at least get something out of it. I mean, don't just sit there and go through these horrors over and over again. I mean, if you know you're going to be facing off against some psychopath, why don't you, I don't know, use your smelting abilities, go build a friggin' flintlock pistol so that when that crazy son of a bitch shows up, you go, oh, hey, you ever seen one of these? You know, you clock this back and kabam, you know, it just, when you're dealing with time shifts like that, it's the reason is usually thrown out for the sake of drama. Just common sense is thrown out for drama. Just like what was it? What was that show? Stargate, where they every like 28 to 30 some odd hours time would reset, and the two guys were finally told, yeah, you could do whatever you want and there's no consequences. So they go around screwing off for like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years worth of time because, hey, why the hell not at that point? That actually made sense. You know, take some time off, enjoy yourself, let your brain matter freaking relax, and then go back to solving the case. That worked. Even though the premise of the show is just no, but still. Rage is saying, I like peyote. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Never had it. I do know one guy, he was actually authorized once a year to consume the stuff. It was part of his religion, and he had to do it under controlled conditions. Let's see. Dustin D says, pleached? What? Different in the snakes than humans. Oh, yeah. The parts would be placed a little bit different. Because I don't know if you know, but a snake's actual butt is towards the tail. So, and depending on the type of snake will depend on where anything is. And it was kind of a joke saying that the male columbra are so small is because hemipenes are not large at all for any lizard at all. That's just a biological fact. And I thought it was going to be funny. And apparently a few people in the comment section thought it was funny as hell. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a couple of dick jokes and then we'll have a giant cannon that's called a dick. And that dick is going to unload on somebody and completely penetrate them from the aft section. I cannot keep going without cracking up. You guys know what I'm saying. So I was like, you know, you just got to sometimes laugh at it. Let's see. On to the next one. Dustin also says Star Trek 6 Undiscovery. I don't know what that mentioned that not all species keep genital pores the same. Yeah. That's absolutely 100% true. We just have on this planet a general layout to work with, but different species, different things. I mean, it is what it is. Jan, I think she's still talking about Enemy Mine. It's a German film with no money. So that explains a lot. Yeah. For the time, it was decent special effects, but no. Let's see. Dustin says, how adaptable is if we had known could have been made in a TV series? Oh, it's very adaptable. It's extremely adaptable. All this can be made into a TV series. Excuse me, a comic book, a freaking anime. They're all designed to be adaptable to each one. It's not that hard. The only thing you'd have difficulty with is you tried to do some of the CGI, you'd be, well, now you wouldn't have so much trouble. I mean, the CGI is really advanced because you got to figure a lot of these space battles, you're talking 30, 40,000 vessels, almost all of which that are firing at the same time. Not to mention the hundreds upon thousands of drones out there, which you would use in space combat. You wouldn't use actual fighters. You can't turn as fast as a freaking drone. You can't adjust yourself. You'll end up crushing yourself inside the cockpit. It just doesn't work. The whole idea of space combat, the way they see in Star Wars, is just, well, for lack of a better term, stupid. I mean, they tried to put everything based off World War II because George Lucas was a huge World War II buff. I mean, hell, even the attack on the Death Star, the original one from A New Hope, was based off a mission that they did in World War II where they blew up a dam. They had to go in at a certain level, a certain height, dodging all this fire, and they had to drop the bombs just at the right time so that they came in, dropped in. They were still going forward, so they had to go in, land. But if you hit too hard, too fast, the whole thing's going to shatter because water still got tension to it. And then it's got to sink at a certain angle and get to the bottom of the dam so you can actually blow the base of the dam up. You blow the top of the dam up, they can fix that in a couple of hours. You blow the bottom, the dam's pretty much screwed. So that's what they base that on. But low-level bombing runs do not equate to science fiction assaults. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, you're taking a lot of liberties on that to try and make that work. But I would love to make something of mine into a TV series. Originally, one of the things I wanted to do, and this was way back in the day before I even started writing, hell, I hadn't even joined the Army yet. What I wanted to do above everything else was make a Battletech story where the like 3 different stories as the episode is coming out is all happening at the same time. And you got like the fighter pilots, the guys on the ground in the battle mechs, then you got the actual guys in charge, and sometimes they're on the same battlefield, but you can literally flip from station to station and go, oh, there's the fight. You're in the battle mechs. Oh, here come the fighters. Hold on, let me change the channel 120, and suddenly you're in with the fighters, and they're actually doing their gig. It's almost like watching a Let's Play, but you're constantly flipping through channels. That was the original idea. Obviously, didn't come to fruition. But yes, I would absolutely enjoy making a TV series, basically a mini series off that. Some of these would do great as anime, I tell you. So anyway, on to the next one. Ernest says, try something like Spaceballs. I'm not that funny. I want to be, but I'm not that funny. Because some of the stuff they do, I mean, seriously, Mel Brooks, if I was wearing a hat, it'd be hats off to him because he's just one of the best. Thought of running in, going, if ship's too big. If I walk, the movie will be over. I don't think of that stuff. He does. I do a story where things just happen to have a comedic slant, just a little bit. I'm more like George Carlin in that. George Carlin said he was never a comedian. He's a writer who happened to be funny. I'm a writer who is sometimes funny. Okay. What was I? But they are enemy. Oh, not just. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I got you, Jan, with enemy mine there. Okay. Dustin D said, what did the inside of the human ships look like? Grimy interior or nice and shiny? That depends on the series, Dustin. That really, really does. Like if you go into New Crewmate, that ship was falling the fuck apart from the inside. And that was really dirty. It was a patchwork ship. They literally took the cargo hold from one ship, the bridge section from another one, an engine section from a third ship, and a crew compartment from a fourth, with bits and pieces of other ships holding it together with little bits of wire and good intentions. But if you have a out of the factory type ship, especially a military ship, that thing is going to be very, very tidy. Why? Because I was there, believe me, they get on your ass about making things all nice and neat. Somebody's individual locker might be disheveled, but no, it will be all pretty, as pretty as they can possibly be if it comes out of the factory. Again, especially if it's a military ship. I've never seen the inside of a Navy ship that looked terrible. It's always cleaned. It might not be sparkling, but it's going to look good. But again, that really depends on the story. And Dustin, if you haven't watched it or listened to it yet, I would recommend you listen to A New Crewmate, especially if you like the freaking jokes from If We Had Known. Yeah, a little dirty humor there. Anyway, Leonid's here, and he says, I'm not sure, but is there going to be a story about military AI made by humans being a main character? There was sort of. I did the one called Welcome to Human Territory, and the actual main characters are the AI. You don't see humans till part 2. And yeah, I've already done that one. So I do recommend you go in and check that one out. Let's see. You know I'm going to mispronounce this. Is it Blaze or Blaz? I'm going to mess this up. What would you say for a more fantasy setting or fantasy versus modern? I've done fantasy versus modern, and I've done fantasy setting. Again, if I'm hurting your name, feel free to fix me on this, but I'm just going to say Blaz. Blaz is Blaz. You know, I'm just going to say Alvarado because I'm going to, that one I can actually pronounce. I did Humans Are Low Energy, which it was a fantasy versus modern. I did an isekai, which was a complete fantasy setting. But the thing is, with that fantasy setting, it wasn't completely set in medieval Europe. Actually, it was meant for more Eastern way of thinking. But I did that specifically because I wanted to do a Western MC in an Eastern setting, but I didn't really harp the Eastern setting. I wanted to, but I figured I'd lose people if I did that. But yes, I have done those. If you guys want more of them, I will. The isekai is actually slotted to be expanded on. It's going to be a while before I get to it, but yes, that one is slotted to be expanded on. But hopefully you enjoy those. They are chapters long, so be ready for that. Let's see. Ernest says, role-playing game Dungeon Master, you have the mindset for it. I'll take your word for it. The only time I've seen anybody play Dungeons and Dragons, like actual while they're playing, was on Big Bang Theory. So that's my limit. I seen a few people were playing it when I was in college. They used to do it like every Saturday. They'd have a whole big group there, and I honestly I didn't get into it for whatever reason. I was usually out doing something else, probably drinking, which was really stupid. But in any case, I appreciate the heads up on that. Could I build a scenario? Yes, I could. I would get on everybody's case, though, because when I actually had to build fantasy settings, there's a lot of research that goes into that because almost everything there is a preset character. Like, you don't call them fairies, they're frays, okay? A fairy and a fray are two very, very different things. Just like a long ears tribe and an elf. Again, two very different things. Those actually come from two totally different areas across the globe. hell, when you talk dragons, are you talking about a Eastern dragon, one that basically is a spirit? Are you talking about a Western dragon, which is almost completely animalistic? Are you talking about a wyvern, which is looks like a dragon, but everybody confuses it? Oh my God, the detail on that is just crazy. I made one story a long time ago and I put it out on Reddit, and I don't remember my old Reddit handle anymore. It's been so long since I was on it. And I got lambasted on there because I screwed up the dwarves. I said dwarves with brown hair. They had me for lunch because most dwarves don't have brown hair. They have almost exclusively red. So anyways, I appreciate the heads up on that, Urson. So also, Leonid said, everyone with a flintlock pistol is going to be a wizard in fantasy. Well, sort of. They do understand that there is a chemistry aspect of it. But yeah, that was kind of, I don't know if you watched my Isekai one. It actually, if you go in a playlist, it actually is labeled Isekai. But yeah, the guy actually Isekais with a whole bunch of firearms. But the thing is, he's not even though the guy is a warrior, his abilities that he get because he's Isekai is not an offensive measure. I hate to say it, but healer is just a constant thing being used nowadays. No, I didn't base it off the series that just came out. I actually got the inspiration based off somebody else's story that said, and this was a while ago. You guys, if you listen to a lot of HFY, you probably heard about it. It was all humans are healers, I believe was the title of it. And it was just a good story. And it kind of gave me a little inspiration for that. And as it turns out, every human from this generation, if it got pulled into, or not generation, dimension, get pulled in that dimension, every single one of you would be a healer as a primary extra power. Now, do you have a secondary? Yes. Are you going to even care about that? Maybe. The only other earthborn human that ends up there, he focuses on his secondary, which is a sword mastery and all that fun stuff, because he wants to be the main character. So, yeah. Okay. Demon says, have to leave for work in 25 minutes. Anybody want to go for me? 4 hours of sleep is not enough time, man. I'll bet. Yeah, I get a lot of that. I don't sleep well. I don't. It's a long story. I'm not going to get into it. Let's just say I haven't slept very well in a very long time. But yeah, it's been a while since I got you. Probably already left there, Demon. But yeah. Okay. Dustin says, how many Death Stars and Star Trek Borg Cube are going to get exploded from the inside out? All of them. There's no other way to take the damn things apart. You can't shoot it to pieces. It just regenerates when it comes to the Borg Cube. And the Death Stars are so goddamn thick, you can't shoot them enough times to do any damage to enough to actually destroy it. You have no other choice. It's just like anything else that's just too hard on the outside. You got to take it apart from the inside. That's just the way it is. I think in the Trekkie Trek, they had one species that was able to take down the Borg externally, and they're not even from this dimension. And that was from one of the worst Trekkie Trek series of all time. And I hang my head a little bit saying, yes, I did watch it. The only reason I honestly watched it is they brought in that blonde girl in the spandex suit, and I was like, dang, she's hot. Now they make her like a total. A couple words I don't want to say. I'll get this whole thing demonetized. Demon says, that idea sounds awesome. Yeah. Maybe it'll work as an animated show. Yep, I would love to make it. Honestly, almost everything I have would make a good animated show. You could take a lot of my one-offs and do like 3 or 4 seasons of Stranger Things or whatever else equivalent, Black Mirror or something like that. Dustin D says, we need a Spaceballs too. Yes, there was supposed to be. I don't know what happened to that. I really don't know. That was supposed to come out. Ugh. Cody says, we have not had a Battletech movie since the closest was Robot Jocks. Yeah, Robot Jocks it's another sit and watch with popcorn, but you better have your suspension disbelief on really high. Yeah, it was really, how the hell do you go into space, get shot down, and land in the same spot? How? It just doesn't make sense. It was a fun idea, though. Let's see. New crewmate was funny. I hope so. It was meant to be a comedy. I don't know if you caught one of the ending jokes. His stepsister is actually called Jezebel. And those of us that know what Jezebel means, you know what that is. Okay. We got Rage saying, how big do you think a ship has to be before it needs a public transport system? Oh, like the internal trains or something? That's easy. When it becomes, how do I put this? I'm trying to find the right word. Unfeasible to live on that ship without and having to actually walk from one side to the other. So whether that's time, whether that's distance, that would really depend on who's designing it. Now, I could say once you're up over, say, a kilometer, the chances of your living quarters being well away from wherever the hell you're working, you're going to need something. Would it be an internal train like they did in the Star Wars Clone Wars? You'd need a pretty big ship for that. Would they have some sort of faster treadmill type thing like they have in a lot of airports? That would make a lot of sense, actually. Just got to be careful getting on and off the damn thing. The thing is, if you're in 0G, they actually did it in one of the Gundam shows where they had a handle that came out. You just grab the handle and it yoinked you right down the hallway really fast to get you to one side to the other because the gravity was so low. You just dragged your feet a little bit and you were good. There's many ways to do it. There's a reason why the corridors of the Starfleet ships look like modern, since Star Trek, the motion picture, were simple and clean. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people gave him crap for that, but I'm just like, you're in space. Rapid depressurization is going to kill you no matter what. So, yeah, as long as you had the big, bulky, heavy doors, which they did for a lot of places, then, yeah, you're fine. Let's see. Jane says, oh, Perry Roden, her Pulp Fiction Weekly Pulp Fiction Weekly Images. Okay. I'll have to look that up. Let me write this down. Perry Rodan. Okay. Leonid says, I think I remember listening to the Isekai story, something about the wolf people. Wolf people. It was only, if I remember correctly, there was only one Kitsune in the whole thing. I don't think that's the same story. You know what, Leonid? I think you might have came across one of the creepypastas I wrote. That was a different one. Yeah. I really don't think that's the right one. Let's see. Demon says, in 12 minutes, you're out of here. Yep. Alvarado says, like any good writer, do you try to make your stories unique from one another? Yes, I do. If it's a stupid question, I'm sorry I knew you. Oh, don't worry about it. Okay. You got to remember when you're working in one genre, there's going to be overlap. There is definitely going to be overlap no matter what you do. If you're working with similar technology in space and you're not changing it to a different dimension or something like that, you are going to have a lot of overlap. So they will sound very similar. Now, the only way you can actually change things is you inform people you're using a different type of engine. You've got a different type of layout. You're working with a different species. You're over in some different, you got to change the parameters a little bit. Now, it could be something as simple as what type of engines does the other side use? What type of weapons do the other sides use? What type of tactics do they use? What's their mentality? What's their society? These are things you can change. And because of that, you can adjust things. But will there be overlap? Yes. Do I try to make them unique from each other? Absolutely, because I don't want you guys to get bored with it. And I know that was one thing that was people were having trouble with. Let's see. War sniper. Duck. Why? Sniper. To think about it, he never uses his weapon. He had an assist kill on the dumb prince. Well, that wasn't actually a kill, but yeah. That was kind of the whole thing, is he was ready to get down and hurt a whole bunch of people, and here he turned into Hawkeye Pierce from MASH. He's just trying to put people together as fast as he can. It's just the way it is. Oddly enough, I designed the character off of one of my best friends who was an actual medic. And he has, unfortunately, one of the worst cases of PTSD I've ever seen in my life. Although he does have his nickname tattooed on his wife's back. Oh, I can't even think of it. I don't want to say it, but if he ever hears this, he's going to be like, dude, stop talking about it. I know she thinks it's funny, but come on. I could hear her in the background last time I talked to him on the phone. She was laughing her ass off at it. But yeah, try not to give too many spoilers away there, War Sniper. 8472 Undyne. I don't know what that is, but I'm going to write it down so I can look it up. 8472 Undyne. Okay. Let's see. Leonid, maybe with a larger fleet of destroyer-class ships against one Death Star. Hold on. Are you talking about actual destroyers, or are you talking about Star Destroyers? Because those are two different things. A Star Destroyer is not an actual destroyer. It is a battleship. It just has the title of Star Destroyer because it sounds scary. Those things are battleships. They're very large, very heavily armored, extremely heavy weapons. They are not meant to move fast, go and move their way through an area. They are not quick strike craft at all. And by the way, you would need a hell of a large fleet to take out the actual Death Star with Star Destroyers. Reason being is if you look on the actual way when the Super Star Destroyer crashed in, they showed from way out. It was one of the games where they seen where that thing crashed into the Death Star. It made, if you're looking at the Death Star, it made this tiny little explosion. It's something that's several quintillion tons, and it looks like somebody let off a matchstick. I mean, the Death Star itself is just insane. To take it out from the outside, you need something like the UNSC fleet, because they could fire and take out the main gun and then make enough holes where they could launch a nuke. Oh, wait, we're still blowing it up from the inside. Because until you blow the damn thing up, it can be repaired. I mean, it's just, unless you're working with some sort of science fantasy logic, then yeah, you have to blow the damn thing apart from the inside. Let's see. Cody says, small sets, limited imagination. I'm guessing that's talking enemy mine or something like that. Dustin D said, I'd say 150 meters. I'd say doubt it. On a full run, if you have your crew compartment in the center, you can run the 75 meters it's going to take for you to get to the bridge or get to the engine room in a matter of 10 seconds. You're thinking, unless people are completely out of shape and there's no way of actually moving quick. Turbo lifts, like in Star Trek, yeah, you could definitely use those. Let's see, doesn't see the most unbelievable turbo lift system. the SS Discovery NC-17 seemed way overcharged. I don't know. I never watched STD. I have no interest in watching it. The reviews came out for that thing, and I can't wrap my brain around Trekkie Trek anymore. I tried. It is very far from hard science fiction. I can't watch science fantasy anymore. And a lot of people said the original series had a lot of actual hard science in it. Yes and no. What they were doing is trying to get people used to certain technology before they let the general public know about it. When that series, the original Trek, came out, we were working on the original SR-71, the original B-1. This was stealth technology, okay? And they're talking about that for the enemy warbirds. They were using cell phones. They were using discs. They were using CDs. They were using microwaves, of all things. They were using glow sticks, which was very uncommon at that point. At that point, the only other people that were using that was our military, our special forces. Now it's a common use thing. What they were trying to do is get people used to it, but they screw this up. They screw this up so bad. Is they're like, oh, well, if the series does bad, then people must not like that technology. No, asshole. Just because a series sucks doesn't mean we don't like the technology. Would it be nice to be able to, scan the body with a little sensor and find out what the hell's wrong with you, and then, plug a little spray? Hold on, let me get rid of this, whatever the hell I got. Okay, I'm good. I mean, seriously, where the fuck is that? But they're like, oh, you didn't like the series, so you don't like the technology. What type of logic is that? There is no logic there. Idiots. Okay. War Sniper says, yes, and the foxy women. I swear, you're one of those guys in the comments is like, I want to consume a waifu. I want to consume a waifu, aren't you? A lot of people went off on that. Some people's like, I want a Kitsune. Some people said, I want the dragon girls. The thing is, the dragon girls were, by dragon standards, extremely young, which, as you know, made the main character go, okay, not cool. Let's see. Dustin D says, in space, you have fusion engine, impulse engines, warp drive, jump drives, and hyperdrives, and transwarp. Yeah, those are sort of. A lot of these are simple. I don't want to say, well, your jump drive, your hyperdrive, your transwarp, that's all FTL. Everything else is just standard below FTL engines. Well, no, warp drive is FTL. But yeah, fusion engine and impulse, it's almost the exact same thing. The only difference is one is using pure electricity and the other one's actually burning something. But yeah. But the thing with the fusion engine is all you have to do if somebody gets too close is turn your engines towards it and crank them up. Won't matter the shields. The heat's going to go right through and fry the hull. And as soon as that, hits something that's cool, it's going to explode. The thing is, heat is not dissipated very fast at all in space. It can actually, how do I put this? In only one of my stories have I ever actually said that, where both fleets are firing at each other and there's a sudden lull in the fighting because they're using almost completely energy-based weapons and their ships are overheating. They got to cool them off. And then once they cool off, they get back to a big slug match, which is why I keep using torpedoes, because those don't cause any heat. Once they're out, they're gone, Let's see. Demon up here says, I love Mobile Army Surgical Hospital. Yeah, everybody did. That was a really good show. I enjoyed the shit out of that. But there was one overlying thing that everybody, if you watch the whole series, you understand that war takes everything from you. Everything. And it almost never gives anything back. And that was just a subtext that was in there, which was great. It was great because it was true. Let's see. Ninja Shark. Well, Ninja Shark. Something that sneaks up. Doesn't even give you the courtesy of bumping you before it bites you. This is just a story concept. You get summoned to another world, and they said you're the hero, but a SWAT team came in to stop. Apparently, you're not actually the hero. They were just a okay. So let me see if I read this right. This is just a story concept. Okay, summoned to another world, and they said you're the hero, but a SWAT team came in to stop, and apparently you're not actually the hero. They were just a cult. Okay, so you're not actually summoned into another world. You just wake up and they say that you're the hero, but you're actually still in the real world. That'd be a decent short story. I'm gonna put that down as a cult SWAT isekai. I'd make a decent short, but that wouldn't make a series. Not by a long shot. Let's see. Demon says, I even have the theme song "Suicide" is painless memory. Yeah, that's kind of a bummer song, but yeah, I can't help but hear the theme in my head now. I don't hear the words; I hear the theme. Have you seen Astartes YouTube 4K? Brilliant. I'm not sure. I don't watch a lot of 40K stuff. I'm not deep enough into it to know what the hell I'm looking at half the time. And that's why the 140K story I made just truly sucked. Excuse me. Everybody said the same thing. It just truly sucked. So you know what they say, write what you know, because if you don't, you sound terrible. Let's see. Leonid, probably special purpose, large gunships with large cannon. Those are destroyers. No. Okay, Leonid, I got to back up and say this right. There are certain classes of warships in space. Okay, anything above drone, you're not going to have personal fighter. You're going to go up to Corvette class. Now, if you've seen The Expanse, where that thing, it's small, it's almost just a one gun and an engine, and that's it. That's your Corvette class. They're very small, very fast, very nimble, but they're usually just for scouting missions. They're not much else. Above that is frigates. Frigates are around the same scale of size as a destroyer. However, they are purpose built. In the story I just finished, if they had known, that's why the frigates had the dual guns attached to them, because they are purpose built to do one thing. Just like our own navies, you have missile frigates, you have communication frigates, you have refueler frigates. These are specialized ships. A destroyer is an all-around fast attack. And when I say all around, it has pretty much one of every weapon system, but it is designed to be very quick. It doesn't have a lot of armor on it at all. It's just meant to be get there, bust its combat load in someone's face, and get the fuck out if you have to. Okay. After that, you go up to cruiser, which is basically the interim between battleship and destroyer. You're looking at small, medium, and large. And it's just that way. The cruiser doesn't have as much armor as a battleship, and its guns are bigger than a destroyer, but it's an all-around ship. It's just a little bit faster than a battleship. The battleship is purpose-built to slug things out. That's why they carry the big guns, and usually a lot of big guns, usually direct fire weapons. That's what makes them a battleship. And usually those things are very, very, very heavily armored so they can take a hit and keep on slinging whatever type of ammo they're doing. Above that, you know, you got carriers, which are extremely niche. You got battle stations, and you have what everybody knows is the Titan class. Titan classes are just unbelievably massive. They're basically mobile space stations. I kind of missed one, which is Dreadnought, which is usually big enough to station battleships inside for repairs. Okay, it's not meant to be a mobile space station. It's meant to be a mobile military base, basically. Damn thing's got really big guns. The best example of that, believe it or not, was the big flying wing where they ripped off the B-2 in Star Wars, where if you actually look at the schematics, it could actually take the battleships and put like 6 of them inside for maintenance, and thing still operates just fine. Those are your different levels. So I didn't want to go on a whole thing on that, but if you're talking about a purpose-built ship with just a large cannon, if you're talking excessively large cannon and not just one that's built into the ship, you're talking about a frigate. That's a direct fire frigate. Destroyers have all different types of weapons on them. Okay. Demon says he's off to work. Take care, everybody. Good night, Demon. Catch you later. Let's see. Rage is here. You made the right call avoiding Discovery. So I hear. No. I saw little bits on YouTube and I couldn't stop watching it fast enough. Okay, Cody says, would you classify Slipstream as FTL or wormhole tech? Wormhole tech. Because you can't adjust once you're in there. You literally getting from one to the other extremely quick. Now, does it blur the line a little bit? Absolutely. Absolutely. But the thing with FTL is you can still adjust your course. Slipstream, if you want to turn, you have to actually get out of the slipstream, turn, re-engage it. I mean, that's it. Wormholes are weird, but their positions are fixed. As fixed as it can be in space. That's what really got me about the whole thing with the Star Trek space station there, the Babylon 5 ripoff, because the wormhole should have been moving constantly. Excuse me. And it just didn't. It was considered fixed above a planet, and I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. A wormhole that large, that close to a planet would have sucked the planet inside. Okay, where was I? Let's see. Dustin says, technically Starfleet impulse engines go up to 0.999 warp. Yeah, I had to say it that way. Let's face it. But most Starfleet impulse engines don't go much faster than 0.57 warp, which is supposedly speed of light. Yeah, any engine can get you up that fast. You run it for long enough. And that's one thing a lot of people forget. If you have your engines turned on and you are still spitting something out the back, you're still accelerating. You're not just pushing yourself along because the ether in space is not dense enough to slow you down. You're just going. It's just out there. So eventually, if you have your engines on for long enough, you will reach the warp threshold. So let's see. Kale says, good morning, good evening to everybody. Hey, Kale, how you doing? Cody says, you don't come back for more complete. You always leave something behind. I know. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt and a few scars. Thank you. All right, Alan says, good day to all. Good day, Alan. How's it going? Let's see. Dustin D says, time dilation had issues in real, DM Siffy ship speeds. Okay. Time dilation is a real bitch on that one. The fact of the matter is, if you get up to a certain speed or slow down to certain speeds, along with gravity, it's basically its own time machine. As far as our linear thinking of time goes, I'm not going to get into that. That would be its own stream, like seriously. But yes, time dilation issues in real life, once you actually reach that, is crazy, because once you reach a certain speed, you could actually sit there, and I believe one single anime has ever done this correctly. As they're whipping through space, they have their clock going. Underneath is the clock, the time for what's happening on Earth. And on Earth, those numbers are just spinning like crazy. I mean, it's all digital, but just going like crazy. And they're just like, oh my God, so much time is passing. What the fuck? Then they finally come back and they're like, 109 years later or some craziness. Let's see. But yeah, time dilation at that speed is I don't put that in my stuff because that leaves a level of a level of calculation that if I had to put that into any series, you guys would lose interest because I'd be going full on nerd on you. All right, on War Sniper Gaming. Yes, I want a Kasume wife as also my waifu. I also don't mind having a dragon waifu, but not a young lady. No thanks. Just like good whiskey, above 18 is good enough for me, but I will think about it. Think that when I get yeeted in. You're not getting yeeted in, you're being yoinked, but yeah, same difference. I actually threw those in as just kind of a side glance because I hate to say it, but a lot of the isekais they do now, everybody you meet, especially right off the bat, is the perfect age for the person there. And all I could say is that doesn't always happen. That was kind of the point. So yeah, it's yeah. Now that was also when I thought about that, that is why the character has that healing ability to rejuvenate as well as regenerate, and that makes a big deal. Let's see, Another World, is that even real? What, the one I wrote? I don't know what you're asking. You're gonna have to. We had so many people on here, War Sniper. If you're talking about Another World, is it real? Well, if I went to one, I wouldn't be talking to you. So okay, Jen says, please see Astartes, 15 minutes, one man, do this in 5 parts and needs 7 years. Okay, I'll write it down. Astartes. Sounds like a Warhammer thing. Just it saying something Astartes. It sounds like either Warhammer or Harry Potter. I can't tell the difference off that, but yeah, I'll look it up. I got it written down right here. Let's see. Leonid, does Space Fleet have battle cruisers? Yes, cruisers are. You can either just call them cruisers or say battle cruisers. It's the same thing. It is absolutely the same thing. Now, the thing with battle cruisers, like if you saw, well, I'm sure you have. Oh, damn it. I'm trying to remember the name of the show. God damn it. The Pegasus. No, not Pegasus. No, that was the other one. The battleship. Anyways, they said the battle cruiser Pegasus for the sci-fi show there that actually had the expandable decks that came out. That works as a battle cruiser because it's not designed for one specific thing. It's a multi-use, but it still has a lot of armor on it to take that much damage. That's a lot of damage. I don't know why, but my brain just won't say the show. I can see it in my mind. Let's see. Dustin says two Bajoran. Oh, Bajoran wormhole is an artificial wormhole. Okay, well, if you say so. I don't really watch the show much. I will say this: a few of the actors on that make that show worth watching. The guy who plays the tailor does such a good job. Okay, him and the guy with the big ears, he does such an excellent freaking job. Oh my God. Those guys need more roles. They are just really, really good. I will say this: on every single Trek show I've ever seen outside of Next Generation, the weakest character of the whole damn thing has always been the captain. It's been the captain and almost always the XO on top of that. They don't act like captains. They like try to force them to be the lead of the show, but either the actors don't have the ability, maybe the writers didn't write them right, but they don't act like fucking captains. They don't. It doesn't. Nothing works. And it's just like, what the hell are you doing? Okay, so Kale says, by the way, Sin, I always forgot to ask why you did your stream on Wednesday, not weekend. Just wondering. I just thought it was a good day to do it. I didn't know what my weekends were going to be, so I didn't know if I'd be able to keep this going. I didn't want to do it Tuesday or Thursday because I actually check in with some of my buddies, and they do their live stream and stuff like that, so I can't do that. Most people, when they have a case of the Mondays, they got a case of the fucking Mondays. And Friday was pretty much out because everyone's going to want to go drinking. Nobody wants to listen to an old war horse like me talk about science fiction. Not on a Friday. You guys got better things to do. Or I should say better people to do. I hope. But yeah, Wednesday, if you guys want me to do another one, put that in the comment section. I'll look it over. I'll take a tally and stuff like that. But yeah, for right now, it's just going to be Wednesday. It's just going to be once a week because I mean, seriously, I started this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. Yeah, 12 things to talk about, and that was it. And we've been going for an hour and 20 minutes. So, yeah. Okay, Lena says the dragon waifu can be thousands of years old. That's fine. Yeah, you're talking legal lolly situation. You really got to watch that because you're toting a line. That one you got to look at a lot of things before you actually step on the wrong side. You really quick find out that you're gonna end up being facing dragon fire. Let's see. Keel says, by the way, Sniper, Sniper has good taste. Sometimes I even prefer ladies older than me. You guys are off. Okay. These are backwards. Okay. War Sniper says the older they are, the more experience they have, but also the more wounds you need to heal. Yeah. I'm too old to deal with some of that stuff. I'm sorry. But yeah, Keel and War Sniper, your comments, at least on my end, they came in upside down. Keel says, number 1. Okay. Hey, at least that's the right finger. Let's see. Dustin says, Michael Burnham should have never been captain after he mutiny and started the Klingon War. That's the Star Trek STD, isn't it? Yeah, I'm sorry, no. What happened with a lot of these is they now are trying to make the villain the hero. I said this with Lower Decks. I can personally fix Lower Decks. It is not hard for me to do it. It would take maybe one episode, maybe an hour-long episode. I could fix Lower Decks. It would be completely healed over. There would be absolutely no problems. It would just take some work. But for somebody to do it, for somebody in that area to have the balls and or ovaries to actually stand up and say, let's do this right, good luck. That's all I can say. Good luck finding somebody who's actually going to stand up for the right thing. It's not going to happen. Why? Because they are so far up their butts with all the woke stuff that I don't do that they insist on taking a villain and making them a hero. I'm like, guys, that has never worked. A lot of people look at Scarface and say, oh, the hero or the villain was the hero. No, he wasn't. He was just a drug dealer. That's it. There's no hero there. I mean, hate me if you want, but I personally, the only good part I thought of Scarface is when he took the 12 gauge to the spine. As I'm like, I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. The line was great. Say hello to my little friend. And he fires at 203. I'm sorry. You fire 203 that close. Chances are it's not going to arm before it goes off. Secondly, when it blows, if you're that close, you're catching a piece of it and you're going backwards. I don't care how high you are. Kinetic energy is kinetic energy. But what the fuck? That's the problem. They make these villains as heroes. And they think, oh, no, I'm making an anti-hero. No, you're not. No, you're not. You are turning the villain and praising them as the hero. And it hurts me. It hurts me when they do this because they can take a great series and they can just totally screw it up. Okay. Oh, Battlestar Galactica. Yes, Leonid. Yes, that was the one I couldn't. It wouldn't come out of me. It was Galactica, Battlestar. The Pegasus class was a much larger, much more heavily armed and armored. That was a true battle cruiser. The Battlestar Galactica was so small in comparison, it was almost considered a destroyer. But the thing is, it was large enough to be still considered a cruiser. It would be considered a light cruiser, but it was still a cruiser. Reason being is that with all the hits that it took, a destroyer wouldn't have lasted that long. The metal fatigue would have tore it to pieces. Let's see. Jan says, the day is cool. Well, yeah, it is kind of cool outside. It's going to be really cold tomorrow morning. And I have to go cook sap all day. Yay! I just hope the sap hasn't gone sour. And yes, maple sap can go bad. Actually, very easily can go bad. I have to test it tomorrow. If it's sour, I got to dump probably 30 gallons of it, which sucks because that makes like a half a gallon of syrup. Okay. Mr. R. Hasten, as if we had known over for now. It may pick up later. But for right now, the series has concluded. Like I've said this a couple times on the stream before you showed up. Just remember there are two different species on there that they still need to work around, and we'll see how it goes. But for right now, it's going to be over. I'm going to take a hiatus on it, let it simmer, because there is going to be a time jump. There was one person in the comment section that wanted the son to start getting interested in potentially, or the general's son to be interested in the Columbra. But as you can see, every time they even talk, he's reaching for his pistol. He hates him. He hates him so much. So much. So, yeah. Anyways, Kale says, yep, Grogu may be 57, but he's still a baby for his species. Sometimes age can be very different. Yes, you're talking the difference between chronology and maturity. There's a big difference between the two. I know some people who are my age who are mentally teenagers. Hell, I don't even think their brains graduated past 12. It's kind of silly. Of course, these are the same folks who are going to be living off food stamps the rest of their life, but they don't care. They just don't. But yes, Cal, that is a very, very good point and very well said. Dustin says, Star Trek hero was always the ship in the series and not the main human character. Okay, I should have focused on the main human character, but I will say in the Battle Station one, they tried to make the bald guy the hero. Like they turned him into Jesus. If you compare it to Babylon 5 did it right. And you can see where they ripped off the script. I mean, they even admitted it. They settled it in court. It's all over and done with. Just watch Babylon 5. It's a much better series. The CGI is but they didn't have the Trek money. They could have done a whole lot better with Trek money. Anyway, let's see. Dustin D also says, Fosing? Okay, I know you're trying to squeeze this in. Old character. Beach. Oh, to be, get, or buy, or is, oh, yeah. Forcing a different character to be or something along those lines is just stupid. Don't screw with a preset character. I know people myself who stopped watching Young Justice, which for the first couple seasons was really good, because they go, that's not General Zod. That has never been General Zod. What the fuck are you thinking? And it was like I'm sure you guys have seen that, the little girl, only like 5-6 years old, little shall we say basketball Americans? Can I be PC that way? And she's watching the whole thing for Little Mermaid, and she sees the Little Mermaid, and she goes, "That's not Ariel. Ariel's white." I'm like, it's a preset character. Don't screw with it. I mean, what are they gonna do? Turn freaking Wolverine into an Asian dude? I mean, what the fuck? So they gotta stop doing that. Let's see. Wargamer says, "Dragon lolly? Hell no. Dragon women that has long legs and is a bombshell. I don't mind." Yeah, you're talking about the Beast Tamer anime there, where she was beyond endowed. They did another one. It was only like 6 series long, where one of the main characters was a dragon female, and she went through her version of puberty. And she was very well built, but she was extremely shy. She didn't like her look. She thought she was being stared at too much. I'm like, okay, so people are looking. Tell them to knock it off. It really depends, but yeah, I mean, really, as far as the dragon women, as far as altering a species to become a humanoid, you don't know what you're going to get, and that was kind of the point. That's why when he changed the dragon into a humanoid, he's like, "Wait a minute, it's a little girl. What the fuck?" You know, that was kind of the point. Let's see. Can always burn a sour sap. Yeah. Yeah, you can still cook it. I'm going to be cooking it tomorrow, provided it hasn't gone totally to shit. Let's see. How long does it take to burn off 30 gallons of maple syrup sap, sour or not? With the new setup I've got, it takes about 5 hours. I know what I'm doing, so I can get that thing like a blast furnace. But the thing is, I'll probably have 30 plus gallons to work with tomorrow. It's crazy how much is out there right now. I wanted to boil today, and everything went to hell. It's just the way it is. Okay. Kale says, completely different beast, but both still a beast. Yeah. Yep. They could possibly still act like the beast they were. That's you know what? I'm going to keep that in mind, Cal, when I actually extend that one. Because, yeah, you might change somebody who is a tiger, and then they come at you to try to bite you. As Dustin D says, Ariel is plain white. Okay. I don't know if that was what they draw her as, but okay. Let's see. Gil says, play Roblox. What the hell's Roblox? I'm at a loss. I can't even think of what that is. Let's see. Mr. R says, is releasing Human Potential a series or a one-off? It is a one-off. It was meant to be a one-off. Could it be extended? Yes, but I don't think it would do very well. As for which way it's going, you're looking at if you're talking psychic battles, you're talking about stuff that doesn't really have any real true drama to it. Anything you guys can really sink your teeth into. Besides, once you actually reach that level of potential, you're looking into more things than worrying about who's got the more power. Yeah. But I don't know if you noticed, but the one who released his potential would only release others that he chose. He would actually look into their mind. And of course, that would make him a giant, basically put a target on his forehead. So, name of the anime, which anime was oh shit. The one with the heel. I don't know the one with the shy girl. That was a kind of a chick anime. I saw bits of it, and then I watched the one or two of the episodes. Unfortunately, YouTube blocked the rest of them. As far as the first one, I believe it's Beast Tamer. You'll see the dragon girl has red wings and red hair, and she wears a kimono with a slit that goes up front so high that you can see her cooch. So yeah. Mr. R says, going on the previous, do you play video games? Not really anymore, no. If I get time enough, I plan on doing a secondary almost gaming channel where a couple different games, I'll actually be breaking it down with actual tactics, not just throwing stuff up there and seeing what works, but actual going and breaking down what I plan on doing for each of these. Like they have the attack on toys. I would actually break down the battle. Here's the battle plan. Here's how this is going to work. Let's execute, see if this works. Here's a new map that somebody created. Let's do this. That sort of thing. That's something I would go into. Dustin D says, like, Hiku's being straight for 50 plus years before being hanged for being gay in Star Trek Beyond. Okay, why not? Mr. R, you keep saying my age. How old are you? Because you look 30. Oh, thank you. I got over a decade on that, by the way. But the guys in my family, we all look young. Like, seriously. Like, holy crap. My dad's in his 70s. He barely looks like he's 50. Let's see. War Sniper says, look at high school D&D has a dragon god of infinity that is really old, but is a lully. You know, I never actually got that far into it. I didn't know that that huge dragon was going to be a little girl. I'm sorry, but what? What is Roblox is the right answer. No, actually, no, that's not the one I'm talking about. Kobayashi Maid, I don't care for that series. I think it's kind of just no. This one's not a maid. Honestly, if I had time to look it up, I would, but right now I'm talking with you guys. It is the guy's a beast tamer. I know that much. I'm pretty sure if you put in beast tamer anime, it's going to come up. The main character, if I remember, he's got light hair and like blue eyes. He's got this weird patch doohickey on his shoulder, like he's going to go shooting, but he doesn't have a rifle, which is kind of goofy. Not a bad series. It's more of a kids based series, but it does have a couple funny parts that are so adults can watch. Okay. Any thoughts on Helldivers 2? Have not played it. I hear it got really good reviews because it's a great shoot 'em up. And you know what? Why not? You know that we're short on shoot 'em ups nowadays. Good shoot 'em ups nowadays. Halo, when it first came out, was great. LAN parties, I love that shit. That was freaking great all freaking day. But you don't get good shoot 'em ups anymore. Why? Don't know. War Sniper says, Beast Tamer, is that also with the cat girl and the two fairies and the hero squad kicked them out? Yes, that is exactly the one I was talking about. That is 100% the right one. Let's see. Dustin D says, how realistic is Starfleet Kobayashi Maru training scene? I didn't see the training scene. Train for failure drills are something that actually happen. Okay, I've done them several times. What pisses people off is when you actually beat them. They're like, you weren't supposed to win that. Well, you shouldn't have made it so obvious how to do that. Or my favorite, how did you learn how to do that? Well, I talk to the older guys all the time. The guys from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm. I used to talk to those guys all the time, and they come up with the weirdest crap. You know, when the chubby Sparky guy was talking about Quack Bang Out, yes, I've heard about that sort of stuff years ago. I haven't ever heard of it as a rubber duck. I heard one guy said he used a baton, which I thought was funny, but still, train for failure drills are very common. Now, the kicker is a lot of times they use these train for failure drills to see who is going to step up. Like if you train for fail, as in you've lost all your leadership, who's going to step up and take over? They're looking to see who they want to promote at that point. I remember distinctly in my first duty station over in Hawaii, they did that in the Mount site. And then suddenly the guys who got killed were suddenly the OP4, the opposing force. And we I won't say we stomped them, but we did take them down. Let's see. Destiny says the no-win train plan. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Train for failure drill. Alvarado says, what is your writing process? The writing process is really simple. I need some sort of basic premise, for one. I build the story around said basic premise. If the basic premise is something like what's coming out tonight, where you got soldiers working with aliens. By the way, the one that I have to do once I'm done here is a actually third part. You can find the other. It'll be linked to the playlist if you want to watch the first ones where humans are so quiet. Anyway, I work with that. Then I got to build a scenario. Then I got to build the characters around said scenario. Then I have to work out the actual plot line from point A to point B. I know where point A is and I know where I want to go, but I have to fill in everything. And during that point, I have to give your ups and downs through the whole thing. So there's got to be breaks in there. And that's the basic way that I write. And sometimes I'll do like half the story and realize that it's crap and I'll throw it away and I'll redo the whole thing because I missed one detail. Okay. Oh, everyone's jumping in here. Holy shit. War Sniper says, I like the Red Dragon Girl. I'm sure you do. Rage says, if the question is why, the answer is money. Usually. Ninja Shark, this is the question. Oh, see, I get these in upside down, guys. Ninja Shark says, this is a question because you're a story writer. What if a country got summoned to another world? How hard would it be to make that story? An entire country. That would be a difficult one because there's so many factors going along. Not only are you bringing the people, but you're bringing their government, you're bringing their hardware, you're bringing their society, you're bringing everything. And yeah, wow, ow, my brain hurts. That is to bring in, say, I don't know. Let's pick one. Venezuela, with all the political shit that's going on over there right now, and they suddenly get isekai to another world where Lord knows what you got. You might have goblins try to run in and grab everything. You might have ogres that come and try to, do this. You might have a dragon fly overhead and they go, what the fuck is that? There's a whole bunch of stuff that go, and you don't know how they're going to react. You have to go by how the general populace is going to react. And unless you know that society specifically, you wouldn't be able to do it right. I mean, even a whole country, something like the U.S., we got so many different areas over here, so many different cultures. It's absolutely nuts. Let's see. Alvarado says, ultimately, listening to Ultimate Ambush Predators. My father was in the Marine Corps, and my brother is too. Love the grunt banter between the soldier characters. Well, yeah. Oh, believe me, those guys in the Marines, they get colorful. They get very colorful. You want to surprise them. They're like, hey, dude, I got you lunch. Hand them a box of crayons. They're going to look at you like, you're an asshole. And then they're going to laugh. Fair warning, Alvarado, when they get out, give them about 6 months to a year, and you're going to see a personality shift. I've said it before. I've worked with the Marines, and when they're in, they're some of the worst people to deal with. But when they get out, they're some of the coolest motherfuckers you ever want to do. They're just awesome. So just give it time on that when they get out. The reason for when they're in is just like the Army Rangers, which I've had to work with a lot. It's the ego. Rangers never lose it. Marines actually do. And again, they turn out to be some of the coolest guys you ever dealt with. Okay. Wow. You guys are just spamming stuff in here. Helldivers 2 is a cool game. Your squad, okay, so it's a squad-based shooter game. Yep. And there's a mouse while explaining. Okay, yep. Demon says, damn, you're still going. Cool. I just got to work. Got here a little early. God, it's windy. Yeah, it's freaking pouring out here right now. Let's see. How would a well, I didn't spell it with a K, but yeah, you got it. Columbus snake fare against xenomorphs in war? Probably not well. Reason being is Columba, or if they're going hand to hand, they're constrictors. And xenomorphs have the acidy blood. So as soon as they start cracking the exoskeleton of the xenomorph, they wouldn't kill it. And suddenly their scales are melting. Why is my face melting? The best they got is their pulse rifles. And those are not, they don't fire very fast. The best they could do is lift off and nuke the place from orbit. Mr. M says, you mean the fat electrician? You watch him? Actually, if any YouTubers do you watch? I watch a few, but not many. I like the chubby Sparky there just because I like military history. And well, I like history in general, as long as it's not bullshit or watered down or freaking adjusted. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of YouTubers. I'll watch the occasional, like I said, the occasional anime, and then I'll a couple like Griffin Mine or something like that. But that's about it. Let's see. War Sniper, 4 members of 1 squad. So squad leader, sort of 3 squad members. That's a fire team, dude. 4 is a fire team. 5 is fire team plus. You need 9 for a squad. And that's by Army standards. Marine standards are different. I think theirs is 13. But mine is 13 if we had the gun team plus Doc. You know, it's just... Anyways, let's see. Demon Key. Oh, man, he loves Helldivers. Fun as hell. Demon says, just be careful on Ava. She will drop right onto you and you go splat. I haven't seen Ava tonight. Let's see. On Friday, we're going to do gaming session. If you have time to join, you know what? Drop the link or the email or whatever, and I'll see what I can do. I don't have a gaming system hooked up right now. I don't. The entire entertainment center right now, we're actually working on putting the power cables in. Nothing's working. So unfortunately, if it ain't on the computer, I can't do it. Let's see. There are light novels written about Japan isekai to another world. Probably. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Demon is blow yourselves up. Okay. I'm okay. Warriors Orochi. I think it's Orochi. Is the only concept of isekai. That isekai, not just a country, but a whole 2 civilization. Oh boy. That's going to be interesting. Warriors Orochi is fun. Okay, yeah, I haven't played it, so I can't say. Lena, did they have plasma rifles in the 40 watt range? I get the reference, dude. I get the reference. But you can't shoot those. Wrong. You know, okay. Let's see. Kobe says, unsub is a bunch of vets drinking. I've seen it. The only thing, it's a couple of those guys get annoying because at least one of those guys, he keeps wanting to repeat everything everybody says. When somebody says something funny, he says it over again. We're like, dude, we heard it the first time. Those types of folks, I just get up and leave. I was like, I got better things to do than hear the same thing twice. Demon says, I bought Kale and War Sniper Hell Drive 2 so we can all play together. If you don't have the game, where is playing with us in, let me know and we'll get you the game. Don't worry about getting me the game. I have no gaming system. It wouldn't matter if I have the game or not. The gaming system is not hooked up. There's no power. Oh, you play on PC? That's different. Okay, if you know what? Send an email. It's not in this one, but there, you go in any of my other recent videos and there's an email there. Just send me an email with a link. I'll let you know if I'm going to be able to be free or not tomorrow. Like I said, it's complete wash. I won't even be able to go get the game, but I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do about getting on Discord then. And right now, guys, it's 8:20. I unfortunately have to get some work done right now because I have to do the audio for this story for you guys tonight. It's right here. It's about 8 pages long of notes. And I got, you can actually tell my pen ran out. So unfortunately, I got in this right now, guys. I got to clear my throat, get everything set up, thumbnails all set up so I can get this done. I hate to cut you off because, we've been going for an hour and 50 minutes, which is amazing, guys. Absolutely amazing. And I do appreciate y'all being here. Safety brief for tonight, you guys. If you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, don't drink. And if your buddy tries to drink and drive, kick him right in the nuts or the ovaries. I don't care which one. Kick his nuts hard enough where they become ovaries, if that's what it takes. All right. Also, make sure if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. If not, you're not going to like the outcome. I just realized what I just said, and I can't believe I just said it that way. Oh, Jesus. All right. I'll catch you guys later. This is Syntext punching out.